based on the Billboard article, I'm just going to quote, and since its February release, they write, Vultures 1 has earned more than 817,000 album equivalent units, so it's well on the way to platinum, according to Luminate. And here's a quote. We have clients who've produced music on the Vultures albums and have still not been paid for their services, even though both albums have been released. Bob Celestine, a music attorney, told Billboard via email, presently, we have no idea when payment will be made. It's just so unfortunate and unfair. You would think Ye would be more sensitive to this issue because he is a producer. We've had trouble receiving a producer agreement from Ye, adds Brittany Trigg, another lawyer who represents a producer on Vultures 1. The problem continues to plague the music industry at its highest levels. Jason Berger, a partner at Louis Brisbois, French loanwords, estimates that in 9 out of 10 deals, the producer has not been paid the day the music comes out, which I've said a ton of times. This is very common. Unfortunately, very common. And due to the volume of new releases, the high number of collaborators on some albums, which is a good thing to add because both Vultures albums have like 50 producers on them, shrinking major label staffs and the mercurial nature of superstars who have to sign off on producer agreements, even if they are running around the world on tour. Celestine says that producers often don't get paid for a year or more after albums come out. So what he's saying is Kanye has to sign off on every producer agreement. There might be 50 of them. There might be, 60, 70 of them. On top of that, this is important. Ye also changed distributors, leaving label Engine, which is owned by Create Music Group, in favor of Two Lost. So Two Lost is now in the mix.
I didn't know that. Shout out to Two Lost. I didn't either.
Isn't that crazy?
That's tight.
And it says, it goes on to say, in a typical distribution deal, artists are responsible for clearing songs and dispersing royalties to collaborators. Distribution companies are usually shielded from legal liability, though many offer tools to help streamline the royalty splitting process once clearances are completed. Still earlier this year, attorneys for a number of producers on Vultures 1 banded together, coordinating their efforts via a group chat to draft threatening legal letters to send to Create, since no royalties were flowing to their clients. There's a lot here. I mean, I think we've run the producers don't get paid on time thing into the ground. What I'm confused is, so it seems like the lines between labels and distributors are starting to blur quite a bit. And you're seeing big artists use distribution deals kind of in a similar way, or in lieu of a traditional record deal.
Yeah, but I don't think the understanding of, like, especially for major label artists, a lot of major label artists, might start using just a distributor, still expecting major label services, or not understanding that, oh, okay, I'm independent, I'm going to capture more of the bread, but you have to build out more of your team and handle more of the responsibility. And I think that's where the ball gets dropped, especially, and I don't know, obviously I work for Two Laws, but I'm not working on this project at all, but just in general, I think artists that are normally have their hand held or don't worry about certain things just don't understand that that's their responsibility when they work with a distribution company like Two Lost. And that's just guessing. I'm assuming that that's just kind of the case here. I don't think Kanye normally, when he was signed to whoever, handled any of this.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like he did.
I mean, I don't think he handled it, but I feel like this is like perfectly in line with it, because I remember when Donda came out, I know an artist, I think it got settled, so I'm not going to because I know that artist took down the post, but he sampled a very well-known, up-and-coming gospel artist, and everybody was congratulating her. I think we had talked about this a little bit. She has a killer voice. I'd love to mention her name, but I don't want to get I don't want it to be weird. But anyways, everybody was like, oh my God, you're on Donda. And she was like, I found out when y'all started tagging me. And I was like, whoa. But there's multiple cases from Donda and Donda 2 where it was like that. I know my Def Jam rep, I just kind of got back in touch with him. And he used to always be like, we don't have the album. I remember when Donda, or when it wasn't Jesus is King. What came out after Jesus is King? Was it another gospel album, kind of? Or maybe it was Donda. I remember it was 11:20, and they still didn't have the final version. And then, when Donda 2 dropped, he changed it several times. So I don't know. I think that this is kind of like a classic Kanye. Like, he's not even giving the people who chase down the information and clear this stuff enough lead time to get this stuff cleared. So independently, hopefully he has a really advanced team and whatnot, but it could be a situation to where Vultures dropped and they didn't know what songs were going to be on it. That's like a very, and then Vultures too. Now the time it's taken now since, granted, I'm not excusing this behavior because I don't like it at all. I've worked and managed short stints with producers, so it's really annoying chasing this down. But I know somebody who has a Grammy from a Lil Wayne song who still hasn't gotten paid from that song. Like, he has the physical, like the Grammy you submit and it's the year later, and then you submit for the actual Grammy that you get, and then you got to wait till it ships to you. He has the physical Grammy and it's gone multiple times, several times platinum over, and he still hasn't gotten paid for the song he produced, right?
Oh, but when he gets that check, it's going to be a crazy check.
It's going to be crazy because they're in the legal process of it right now. And it's not even like they're suing them. They're just like, hey, release our money because we know that you've accounted for it. And if you haven't, that's fine. Go back and account for it. So like, he's been in that proceeding for over 2 years. That check going to be crazy. But still, I'm, again, not justifying this, but this is a very standard practice. I'm confused, and maybe I don't know, and I'm not justifying it again, but why are they suing the distributor? It's up to the creator to like insert the splits and all of that. Like, it's not like the distributor is like withholding.
I don't think they are suing them yet. I think now they're thinking of pressuring, because from what I understand, based on some insider information, I'm not going to say the lawyer's name who gave me this info, but they are filing certain lawyers who represent the producers who haven't been paid are filing DMCA takedowns against Kanye albums. And so who responds to those? Distributors. So now a distributor like Create or Two Lost are putting themselves in the middle of that fight. And I think, well, what else do I expect them to do? Like, if you try to file a DMCA, I'm owed money from Interscope from an album. If I went and filed a DMCA against the album that I'm owed money from, they're going to do the same thing. They're not just going to contact me and say, hey, we'll send you the money right away, and then we'll ask you to kindly release the claim. No, they're going to fight me. So I assume that's what Two Lost is doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Filing the DMCA, hopefully they might not be high profile, and most independent artists aren't going to show up in big Billboard articles and things like that. But the type of business that I see artists doing these days, or just a lack of information, lack of knowledge, lack of a team, it's going to get wild out here. The tech exists, to make sure a lot of this is smooth. We have Two Lost is actually rolling out advanced splits. So not only can you split payments, but you can recoup balances. You'll be able to recoup balances. You'll be able to pay people up to a certain amount. So if for whatever reason, maybe you wanted to pay a photographer out of your royalties, you wanted to pay him $500, but you didn't have $500 up front, you can be like, hey, I'll give you $500 when the music starts selling. You can put them into the royalty splits and pay up to a certain amount, and then it diverts back to yourself and your other collaborators. You'll be able to do a lot more creative things in terms of compensating folks. So the tech exists. I
love that, but even with the tech existing, it's a two-way street. I just found out that one of our songs, in fact, our highest streaming song that's been released under our label, got taken down, I think, last week. And I, DMCA, whatever, it's really annoying because the producer, we've mentioned him multiple times on this podcast. He's a very well-known producer. When the project dropped 3 years ago, before it dropped, we sent the paperwork. He didn't sign it. He didn't claim his royalties. He didn't sign up for our distributor, right? So we don't have any details to give him or send the money his way, okay? A year and a half ago, he sends his manager like, we've never been paid for this. We're going to issue a takedown. You owe us $15,000 and half of all the royalties on the song. And I'm like, well, here's the split sheet we sent y'all to sign off on 2 years ago. You don't own 50% of it because actually we took this loop and we did this, and this. So he only gets 33% of it. But that's on the main song. When we brought this major artist onto the song, we asked everybody to dilute by 5% so that this artist could get a bigger share. And everybody else, except for you, agreed because y'all never responded to the emails. And this is how we got this song to where it's streaming at right now. Also, your math is off because we had this song in discovery mode. So it didn't make as much money as you thought it did. Here are all the breakdowns and the details. Do you have any issues? We would be more than happy to give you the backlogged percentage and make sure that you get everything done. His lawyer comes back and says, this isn't satisfactory to us, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, so either sue us or take what we're offering. I said, we don't have the $15K to give you. This is preposterous, but just like, you're really owed like $1,200 and we're cool to make that right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't respond. Okay. 9 months later.
They didn't agree to the initial.
No, they were just like, this doesn't make sense to us. 9 months later, they come back with a new manager and lawyer and say, we haven't been paid. Now you owe us $20,000.
No, the initial split sheet, they didn't agree to it.
No.
Yeah. So then you probably shouldn't have put out the song or just put there, I guess. We have a text where all the producers are like, yeah, bro, we're good. We have like a they did agree.
Yes, but I'm saying they didn't sign that. We have like text agreements because that's what I took back to his lawyer and manager. Like, your client agreed to this. We sent everything to you and y'all didn't sign off on it, but he agreed via text to the actual split, right? And we sent split sheets plus multiple times because we were on STEM first, then we were on video. So both times, and we have the dates that we sent multiple times where they could accept their percentage. And now I'm just like, I don't even know what to do because it's like they never accepted their percentage. This shit just got taken down. It's our highest streaming song, and I somehow still don't care. So I'm saying, I get what you're saying. The tech is in place, but it could also, it's a two-way street because it could be difficult. I have our shit together on our team side. Our artist did you put them in?
Did you put them in? Okay, they didn't actually sign the split sheet, but did you just?
Yeah, we put them into the system, but in order to get paid, they have to accept their profile.
So the money's sitting there.
Yes. Yeah. Right. The money, that's what I'm saying. We have no problem. We're like, yeah, go ahead and sign up for the thing. Their thing was like, nah, we want the $15K. I think that's why they won't accept they're split in the system, because then once they accept, then it's essentially proof that they agreed, right?